In the last lecture, we discussed about Bayesian method, and we discussed when we have my parameters is a discrete random variable, then how we apply Bayesian method to solve the problems. Now parameter can also be continuous. So how we apply Bayes' theorem in that case? We'll see all this in this lecture. So if you see parameter, and this is denoted as theta, this can be a discrete or it can be continuous. So it can be a discrete random variable or it can be a continuous random variable. Now in this lecture we will discuss about continuous random variable. So if you remember, we can write Bayes' theorem something like this, that is probability of my parameter theta, it will have a value of theta I given my data points epsilon is equals to probability of data points given the parameters, that is theta is equals to theta I multiplied by the prior. So this is again theta is equals to theta I and divided by sum of this term, that is numerator. So this is sum over all i's from 1 to k. So this is my Bayes theorem. So if you remember, this thing is called likelihood and this thing is prior, and this whole term that is basically related to normalization constant. So we have three things, and this side we have posterior distribution of theta. So this is posterior and this term is likelihood and this term is prior. So basically my posterior distribution can be given as likelihood times prior, and then we have to divide this all using a normalization constant. So now let's say my parameter is a continuous. So let theta be random variable with a prior distribution or prior probability density function f dash theta. So now my parameter can be a random variable, continuous random variable, then it must be described by some distribution. Let's say corresponding distribution is written as f dash theta. So this is prior distribution of theta. Now similarly we will use another symbol f double dash theta. So when we are using dash, then we will use this for prior, and when we are using double dash, that means we are using this for posterior distribution. So let's focus on these terms, prior, posterior and likelihood. So first prior. So the prior probability that theta will be between theta I and theta I plus delta theta. So this is theta I plus delta theta is given as f dash theta I times delta theta. So to illustrate this, let's say we have a distribution that is a continuous distribution for my parameter theta. So on this axis we have parameter, that is in this case theta. On the y-axis we have corresponding probability density function. So let's say this is denoted by this. So this is the probability density function for theta, and this is prior probability density function. So basically we want to know what is the probability my parameter theta lies between theta I and theta I plus delta theta I. So this is simply delta theta. So we can find this area, the area of this rectangle, that is nothing but the probability that theta lies between theta I and theta I plus delta theta. So what is this ordinate? This ordinate, because I know this function, this prior function is given by f dash theta, so basically I know this term, so this will nothing be f dash theta I. So this ordinate value is nothing but f dash theta I. So now we can calculate this probability, that is the shaded area, and this distance will be delta theta. So this area will be f dash theta I times delta theta. So this is the probability that theta lies between theta I and theta I plus delta theta. So now I know my prior probability. So let's write this. So prior in this case is nothing but f dash theta I times delta theta. Now let's say using some experiment we observed some data, and this measurement points or data points is denoted by epsilon. So we have epsilon, that is data points that is coming from experiment or some field testing. So we want to use this data to modify my prior and to write posterior distribution for my model parameters theta. So we want to write posterior distribution, and again we will use Bayes theorem. So this is to find the posterior probability that theta will be in theta I and theta I plus delta theta, and this we will use Bayes theorem to obtain. So what we want to obtain? We want to obtain what is the probability, posterior probability. So when we are using posterior probability, I have to use double dash, and then like for prior we multiply by delta theta, then we get the probability. Similarly, if I have f double dash theta I and if I multiply by delta theta, this will give me the posterior probability. So this is nothing but posterior. So we can use Bayes theorem to calculate this. So let's write using Bayes theorem. So I can write posterior of theta I given my data points times delta theta. So this is the probability. So this is a probability, and that is posterior probability. So this is equals to prior times likelihood. So we have to write likelihood and multiply by the prior. So likelihood will be probability that my data given theta I and then prior, that is f dash theta I, and then multiply by delta theta. So this is my likelihood times prior, and then in the denominator we have to sum all this for all I. Let's say I equals to 1 to k f dash theta I times delta theta. So this gives me a Bayes theorem for discrete case. But now if I limit my delta theta, that is delta theta goes to 0 in the limiting situation, we can get this for continuous case. So now in this formula, that is p epsilon given delta given theta I, this is basically p epsilon given theta, where theta lies between theta I and theta I plus delta theta. So in the limiting case, we can write this formula. So if I divide by delta theta, basically this delta theta and this delta theta will cancel out. So we can write in the limiting case f double dash theta I given epsilon, this is equals to p epsilon theta I f dash theta I, and this divided by this term, summation I equals to 1 to k p epsilon theta I, and given f dash theta I delta theta. Now if you remember your mathematics classes, when delta theta goes to 0, so now if I apply the limit, the delta theta goes to 0, this summation can basically converted into integration. So if I apply this limit, then I can write summation can be replaced by integration. So if I replace this using an integration, so finally we can write my posterior distribution for continuous case. So p epsilon given theta I and f dash theta I, this divided by this integration, and this will go from parameter minus infinity to infinity, so limit is this, and then I can write p epsilon theta I f dash theta I, and then basically delta theta. This we can also write f double dash theta, this is equals to k times L theta, that is likelihood, times prior. So this is my function for continuous case. Now in this case, k is nothing but 1 divided by this whole term. So this is nothing but this term. So this is k is basically normalization constant, and L theta is likelihood. We can also calculate expected value of posterior distribution or posterior parameter theta. So we can write this theta double dash, and corresponding expected value is written as hat in this case. Expectation of theta given the measurement points epsilon, this is equals to minus infinity to infinity theta and f double dash theta d theta. So if I know f double dash theta, and then I can multiply by theta, and then this will give me the expected value, basically posterior parameter theta. So in the next class, we will discuss one example to illustrate all this for a continuous distribution. So we can stop here. Thank you.